okay, I hate this guy and he's kind of a cuck, but I can understand where he's coming from, and I like at least I like understand like.
So the topics that you chose, do you think that the way that you choose them in the future is going to be different? Because I saw there's only one segment that I saw out of any of them, and it was the girl at UT that was arguing about wokeness with you,
Hmm.
and she had a lot. She had an upper hand because she wasn't making any positive claim forward, and she was basically appealing to the fact that you were saying anecdotes and stuff like that. Do you think that you're going to tailor your topics more to be hyper specific in the future, or?
Yeah, so the question is basically like the girl at UT seemed like she had the upper hand because she could nail me down on my lack of specificity on a topic. I think in the future, I think the topics are going to be way more specific to kind of, yeah, keep the conversations a little bit more focused, I think. Because, yeah, initially broader, I went broader just to have more people feel comfortable engaging with the topics. But I think in the future, being more narrow to get people to engage on certain specific points that I can be like really well prepared for so we can go really deep into the topic is probably going to be more fruitful. Wait, are you an online person?
Yeah,
Oh, you're Sanso, right?
yeah, we met twice.
Yeah, I just connected. I don't even. Jesus, my brain. Okay. Sorry. Oh, hi.
Yeah, I know you said that you want to change some things, but I was wondering if you had a specific goal for these events and if you met that goal.
So my specific goal for these events are, it feels like right now there are like bubbles of acceptable or possible political conversations. So if you're a progressive or you're somebody on the left that is very like politically opinionated, there is like this whole class of people that you will refuse to talk to. Like progressives don't typically engage Trump supporters or like Blue Lives Matter people in very there's a word I'm looking for. Productive. They don't engage them in very productive dialogue. Usually it's like a bunch of name calling, screaming, and then deplatforming is like the goal from the left. And then on the right, there's also this goal of like, they're a little bit more desperate for the platforming, so they'll entertain more conversations now. But it's still like, I have this fundamental idea that I'm almost positive is true, that like 99% of like all of humanity is pretty shared on what we want for humanity. Like I think most people want to have happy, healthy families. They want to be able to work a job and contribute to society. They want to earn money, come home, and then like have some fun. Like I think that basic framework applies to almost everybody on the planet. And then obviously you're going to get into the weeds on certain moral issues, especially around issues like LGBT stuff. But for the most part, I think everybody is coming from a good place. And one of my goals in having conversations with people that are very politically different is to try to show that I understand that, and then to try to make other people understand that like when people are coming out like from a Blue Lives Matter perspective, it's not because they hate black people and they love cops and they want to see like minorities killed. It's because they think that more police will genuinely make the place a safer place. Or when you get people that are talking like defund the police and ACAB, they're not saying that because they want crime to run rampant and they hate cops and they want them all to die. Well, most of them don't. They're doing it because they genuinely think that like the institution of policing like needs to change because it's not in a good place to keep most people in America, especially minorities, in like a healthy area. So yeah, I guess my goal is, that's what my goal is, engaging people with like vastly different political opinions to show it's possible and to show that there is some common ground at least. And in terms of like, was I successful with that in this event? I mean, these are the first two that I've done. I would say they went really successfully in terms of metrics. I think some of the conversations I had were pretty good, but I can definitely do them better in the future. But yeah, this is a first trial run on it. And I think it went exceedingly well compared to what I expected it to go, yeah.
Going off that last answer, when you start looking at your career in a big picture perspective, what do you think is the like potential impact that you could have? It's also taking into account like that you're thinking about this whole media company startup. Like, what do you think like are the upward bounds of like the kind of impact you could have or your movement could have?
When I look at my career, what is like the upward impact that I could have was kind of the question. I guess so. Anybody here play Mega Man? Okay, decent amount. Okay, every time Mega Man kills an enemy, he absorbs their weapon, and it's like a new thing that he uses on his next opponent. Something that I've been so incredibly lucky to experience. Like my honest to God, my whole life is just like one lucky break after another. When I got popular on the internet, I was definitely part of a very specific section of incredibly edgy internet behavior, like incredibly edgy, like stuff that would make like Hitler blush if you read like some of the chat logs that I had on Battle.net, like an unbelievably edgy time on the internet. But like the internet was kind of accepting of that culture back then, and as the culture has slowly changed, I've kind of like naturally progressed along with it. So I think that like I have a really wide background in terms of being able to understand a lot of different types of people. I come from a Catholic background. I went to a Catholic grade school, Catholic high school, all boys Jesuit. I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, in the Midwest for 30 years. I lived in LA for 3 years. Like I've got Republican parents. My mom and side of the family are Cuban immigrants. And then I've been online through so many different communities. I think that probably the most unique thing I have is I've got a lot of different perspectives, and I don't demonize any of them. I don't know why people do this, but usually, like, if a human leaves one place for another, like, the thing he has to do is immediately decry and destroy and hate wherever he came from. Whereas I can, like, move on from one place and I can be like, I disagree with these people, but I understand why they do what they do. So when you say, like, what is the upper bound, I guess, or the upper trajectory of my career, I don't know. I mean, ideally, I guess the most popular person in the world, but that's probably not realistic. But one thing that I've been able to do, I think, exceedingly well from place to place is I seem to be able to go into communities that are very different from me, and I've got a really good rhythm of getting respect from those communities and then pushing into those communities in ways that I didn't think I'd be able to do before. And I think I can only do that because of the unique experiences that I've had so far getting to where I am. Like, I think my foray into like the Fresh and Fit stuff went, again, way better than I thought. My first meeting was probably more soft than a lot of people would have liked it, but my second time on the show was like way more aggressive, and I think I could only do it because of the respect I earned the first time. So yeah, I think my goal is to just be able to, I guess, like, communicate with different communities and at least show that communication is possible. I don't talk to my community much about this, but like everybody always talks about like converting people and converting people and converting people. Like people talk about it with like the gripers, like you got to convert the gripers, you got to convert the Fresh and Fit people. You got to. My goal isn't usually to convert anybody. Actually, I really don't care at the end of the day if I convert people or not. That's not my goal. My goal is at the very least that like I want you to come away from listening to me thinking like, okay, I hate this guy and he's kind of a cuck, but I can understand where he's coming from, and I like at least I like understand like what he's saying, and I know why he's saying what he's saying, rather than like the stereotypical image of like a blue-haired screeching SJW that's just calling you racist or something. So yeah, I guess as many communities as I can penetrate with that, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Bye.
Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.